time for a history lesson, and today's topic has to do with the existence of giant people. Now, I know that the history that we've all been taught throughout our lives has led us to believe that there were never any such things as giant people, and if anyone ever brings up the topic of giant people, they tell you that it's just a bunch of lies, it's mythology, and it's nothing more than a hoax that someone made up. But what I want to ask now is this a hoax? This comes from the Bible, from the book of Numbers, chapter 13, verse 28. It says, "But the people who live there are powerful, and the cities are fortified and very large. We even saw descendants of Enoch there." Enoch? Who were the descendants of the Enoch, and who were the Enoch? Well, you'd have to read the book of Genesis. It's right there in the book of Genesis. It talks about it in great detail, and it describes how the Nephilim impregnated human women, and the human women gave birth to what would become giants. So this was a mingling of DNA between one race of evil spirits and the human women who gave birth to the descendants of Enoch. And the descendants of Enoch would be, of course, Anakim or Anunnaki, also known as giants. And like it says here, the cities are fortified and they're very large, and fortified just meant that there was a big wall or a giant gate or combination of both surrounding their entire city to keep people out, like a gated community where the rich people live, and they have their fortified gated communities in order to keep people out. Same thing. And the second part of this history lesson comes from the book of Enoch, forgotten book of Enoch. And I know there are a lot of people out there who aren't aware that there is a book of Enoch, and there's a reason for that. It's because the book of Enoch used to be in the Bible right along with the rest of the books in the Bible, but the Roman Catholic Church had it removed. And the reason why the Roman Catholic Church had it removed is because there was stuff written in the book of Enoch that they did not want the people living during that time to know about. Basically, they wanted to manufacture their own version of history, and they've been pretty successful at it so far. This comes from the book of Enoch, chapter 15, verse 8. "Now the giants who have been born of spirit and flesh shall be called upon earth evil spirits, and on earth shall be their habitation. Evil spirits shall proceed from their flesh, because they were created from above, from the watchers was their beginning and primary foundation." Let me read this part again here. "Now the giants who have been born of spirit and flesh," and this is what the book of Genesis described. These giants were born with spirits of the Nephilim, or watchers, and mortal human females, and they shall be called upon earth evil spirits, because that's what they came from. Descended from what were known as the watchers, also known as evil spirits. And on earth shall be their habitation, which meant that the giants would spend some time on this planet and create more giants until you'd have an entire race of giants, not just a few, but literally huge numbers of giants all over the place, and that's what you had. And they were known as Rephaim too. Evil spirits shall proceed from their flesh. Meaning that after this production of giants took place, they would impregnate each other and give birth to more evil. And not spirits in the literal sense, just evil human beings which would spend some time roaming around on this earth before they were destroyed. Because they were created from above, from the watchers, was their beginning and their primary foundation, which meant that they were never supposed to be here in the first place, but they were. And so when things started getting out of hand with these giants, corrupting everybody with their wickedness and their rotten fruit, they would have to be destroyed. And that's exactly what happened. Book of Enoch, chapter 16, verse 1. And as to the death of the giants, wheresoever their spirits depart from their bodies, let their flesh, that which is perishable, be without judgment. Thus shall they perish until the day of the great consummation of the great world. A destruction shall take place of the watchers and the impious. Okay. And as to the death of the giants, wheresoever their spirits would depart from their bodies, wheresoever their spirits depart from their bodies. And what this is saying is their flesh would be without judgment, because during this time period there wasn't going to be any judgment day until later on, but after their spirits departed from their bodies, they would immediately become what we refer to as evil spirits. And this is where we get the idea of evil spirits, because they really do exist. And an evil spirit is nothing more than the spirit of a person who once lived on this earth but passed away and has to do nothing now but roam around with nowhere to go and nowhere to stay, no permanent place until Judgment Day comes. Thus shall they perish until the day of the great consummation of the great world. And this means that their entire race, the entire race of Nephilim giants, died off, which means they perished, they are no more. But now their spirits are just waiting for Judgment Day to arrive so that they can be permanently destroyed, spirits and all. A destruction shall take place of the watchers and the impious. And the Book of Enoch wrote this, and it's exactly what happened. At this time, the time of the Book of Enoch's publication, there actually were giants running around on the planet. But after the Book of Enoch was written, they wound up being destroyed, which meant that it was in the cards for them from the very beginning. So the truth is that there actually were a race of giant people on this earth at one time, and they're never going to come back again. Don't ever let anybody tell you that this is a hoax. And another thing, when it comes time for the spirits of the Watchers and the Impious to be destroyed, there will be no more Illuminati and no new world order. And I know that that's been going on for about the past 10 years, planning of Illuminati, new world order, but it will be no more when this is all over. Thanks for watching.